Hello, welcome back to RetroBreak. In today's video I'm going to be taking a look at 5 amazing homebrew games for the original Game Boy. I was very excited this weekend because I've ordered myself an EverDrive X7 for the original Game Boy. I won't go into too much detail about how this actually works, I'll save that for another video in the future when it's a bit cooler and it's not like 30 something degrees in here. So I'm going to keep this video short and sweet and just show you 5 of the best homebrew games that I've found to play on this so far. So please enjoy. So the first game we're looking at here is called Dangan GB, and this is really impressive. It's basically a bullet hell shooter for the original Game Boy. It was made, as you can see there on the left, for the 30th anniversary of the system, so this one is brand new, it only came out this year. And just look at how many sprites it can throw around the screen, it really is very impressive. The game itself is very simple, it's basically hold down the A button and try and defeat as many bosses as you can. I think there's 5, I only actually managed to beat 2 bosses, and the only downside I'd say is the fact that they do last quite a long time before they actually can be defeated, as you saw there when it was sped up. It also has this nice little artwork in between the stages that tells you how well you did and how good your accuracy was while you were fighting the bosses as well. And as you can see here, they do mix up the bosses quite a bit, like this one has a different bullet style where it shoots out these circular patterns as well for you to dodge. So all in all, very impressive game, definitely recommend this one. The second game we're looking at here is a game by a creator called Cabbage for one of the Game Boy game jams. This one's called The Bouncing Ball, and surprisingly this is probably the game that I've spent the most time with on the entire EverDrive at this point. I really enjoyed this game. As you can see, it's incredibly simple. All you need to do is make the ball bounce from one side of the screen to the heart on the other side, and the levels get progressively more complicated and it throws in different mechanics and multiple hearts to collect, but overall this one was one very addictive game, and it has the essence of a good Game Boy game in the fact that it's a very simple pick up and play style game, but it's one that gets progressively harder and you do actually feel good when you complete a stage. It's one of those kind of games where you say just one more go, and before you know it you've played it for half an hour and you've beaten all 50 levels there are. So really impressed with this one. Great work, Cabbage. Definitely recommend this one if you've got an EverDrive or if you want to download it for an emulator. I'll put links to all these games in the description below. The third game we're looking at here is called Tough, and this one was made in 2014 by a guy called Ivo Wetzel. This game isn't really complete as far as I can tell, this is more of a proof of concept style game, but I really love the graphics and I love the controls, and it just has a really nice sort of atmosphere to it. I couldn't exactly figure out where I was supposed to go or what I was supposed to do, so I don't really recommend this one as highly as the other ones, but for a technical demo, for a sort of proof of concept of what the game could be, I think it has a lot of potential, but from what I can see he hasn't worked on it for a few years now, so I don't know if it'll ever be finished, but I did like what I played and I think the graphics are really nice. It has a lot of charm to it, which is really good. So I'd recommend this one to give it a go, but it's not as high on my list as some of the other games on this video. Now, much like the last game, this one isn't a complete game, this is more of a tech demo, but this is one that I absolutely loved. As you can see here, it takes heavy inspiration from games like Mega Man, but it does throw in a few new mechanics as well. There's this jetpack mechanic where you can hover in the air for a short amount of time. Another thing I thought was really good in this game was the music and the graphics. Basically everything about this game is really good. It's very smooth to play, very impressive for a homebrew game. But unfortunately, once again, it doesn't look like they've continued with the development of this game. I think this one was from 2014 as well. And it actually looks like the developers from this game have gone on to make another game, which is the next one in this video. But hopefully one day they'll go back to this one and do a bit more work on it, because I think it could turn into something really special. The demo that I downloaded here only has one level and this one boss fight at the end, but it is very promising and I'd love to see more of it in the future. And the final game we're looking at in this video is one called The Last Crown Warriors, once again by Light Games. This one is a very impressive game. It actually plays like a Musou game, like Fire Emblem Warriors, like Hyrule Warriors, but it runs on the Game Boy. And as you can see, it also has Super Game Boy compatibility as well, which is really cool to see. It's a very basic game, but from what I've read on their Twitter, they're definitely looking to add a lot more features to it. Different areas, different enemy types, different playable characters. The idea of the game is to fight off hordes of enemies and raise a flag, and then when you've raised all the flags in the area, you then get warped to a boss and you have to destroy the boss, and that's the end of the stage. At the minute I think there's only one stage in the game, but there are several different characters you can play as. So as you can see here, first I played as the girl, and she has a special ability where she can throw a flower on the floor. But there's also this knight here, and he has a boomerang, which definitely made it quite a lot easier. I couldn't manage to beat the boss as the girl, but when I was playing as the knight, I managed to do it no problem. So it is quite a simplistic game, but it definitely has a lot of potential, and it was a really impressive homebrew game that I found for the original Game Boy, so I'll definitely be watching the development of this one quite closely. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed a quick look at some of the amazing homebrew games that I've found so far for the original Game Boy. Let me know down in the comments if you know any other amazing homebrew games for the system. I'd love to check them out. I've been having a fantastic time with this. And like I said, I'm going to make another video in the future that goes into the X7 in a lot more detail, how it all works, how to get the games onto it, and even a bit about how to program your own Game Boy games. I've been looking into that as well. Don't forget to check out my Patreon to see all my videos early, and just so you guys know, I've also got a second channel now. It's called RetroBreak Gameplay, second channel, and on there I'm basically going to be uploading all my full-length gameplay videos that I'm using in these shorter videos. So definitely go and check that out if you want to see some more gameplay from the games in this video. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. So leave a comment down below if you've played any Game Boy Homebrew games. Which ones do you recommend? I'll definitely be doing more of these videos in the future, and also taking a look at some Game Boy Color Homebrew as well, because this does work on both the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did playing the games on it. I'll see you next week for another one. Goodbye!